And news coming in from West Asia. The Israeli military has announced that it is conducting preemptive strikes in Lebanon after detecting preparations for large-scale attacks by the Hezbollah group. The military has also warned Israelis to expect incoming missiles and drones launched by Hezbollah. According to military spokesperson Daniel Hagari, Hezbollah will soon fire rockets and possibly missiles and UAVs towards Israel. Hagari added that the forces are monitoring Hezbollah's preparations to carry out large-scale attacks on Israel. The IDF has said that they are attacking and eliminating Hezbollah threats and will do whatever is required to protect the citizens of Israel.
A while ago, the IDF identified Hezbollah terrorist organization preparing to fire missiles, rockets towards Israeli territory. In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians.
The military has also asked residents of areas in southern Lebanon to leave immediately. Remember that this is the area where the Iran-backed militant group operates from. The Israeli military has issued a warning saying anyone who is near areas where Hezbollah operates is in danger and should leave immediately to protect themselves and their families. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, efforts are ongoing to halt the ongoing Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, and it has intensified in the past few weeks. Talks mediated by the US, Egypt and Qatar got underway in Cairo on Saturday, following a two-day meeting in Doha last week. However, the Hamas group has said that while it is sending delegates to Cairo, it will not take part in the discussions. A senior Hamas official said that the delegation will only meet with senior Egyptian officials for updates on the negotiations. Hamas insists that Israel should withdraw all its forces from Gaza, including from the border area with Egypt, known as the Philadelphia Corridor. The United States, Egypt and Qatar, for months now, they are trying to broker an end to the war in Gaza between Hamas and Israel. The White House said that progress had been made at the latest round of talks, which took place in Doha. However, the possible permanent deployment of Israeli troops along the Gaza-Egypt border has emerged as a major sticking point. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has, however, insisted on keeping troops along the corridor. Netanyahu has asserted that Israel needs to prevent Hamas from rebuilding its strength by smuggling in arms from Egypt. Meanwhile, family members of Israeli hostages held in Gaza, they continue to await the return of their loved ones. They gathered in Tel Aviv on Saturday and addressed US President Joe Biden in a call for help, accusing Netanyahu of deceit and manipulation for his own personal gain.
We'd like to address President Biden directly and say, Netanyahu has been systematically torpedoing this deal. You cannot believe a word he says. He will keep lying and deceiving you. He will tell you one thing, then do the opposite, all for his own personal, political and criminal motives. He will toss a spark of hope your way, then continue with his delays and sabotage, just as he always does.
Even as ceasefire talks resumed, fighting raged in Gaza on Saturday. Civil defense rescue sources reported ongoing Israeli artillery fire and airstrikes across the Hamas-run territory. In Gaza City's Zaytoun neighborhood, gunfire and explosions echoed as Palestinian militants clashed with Israeli soldiers. An overnight strike on a house west of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza killed 11 people, including a woman and her 4 children. Gaza's health authorities have reported a devastating toll from the past 24 hours, which is pegged at 69, and at least 200 people injured due to the ongoing Israeli military operations in Gaza. The death toll in the Gaza since the outbreak of the war in October has crossed 40,000, and over 93,000 people have been injured. For more on this, we were earlier joined by Adrian Calmel, fellow at Arabian Peninsula Institute. Take a listen to what he had to say on this.
It's a great question. I really don't think they're close. When we look at this entire ordeal that started on October 7th, this war that was kicked off, as soon as I heard that there were hostages involved, I knew that this was going to be a war of a different nature, mainly because of the whole hostage component. And for the hostages to be released, that was going to be Israel's #1 objective. And that needs to be first and foremost with any type of negotiations. With Hamas, they understand that those hostages are leverage, and that's really the only thing that's keeping them from holding on. They are hanging on by a thread. Not many fighters left. Their upper core echelon's been decimated, and the reroutes, supply lines have been shut down. So this is kind of end days for Hamas, but this is a much wider war that we're looking at.